I thought I'd take this week's video and go a little deeper into the working part of this small holding. We've established a small income through raising and selling broiler chickens for meat. We supply local markets and friends and family at this stage. And right now, it's time to feed and water them. They're on a batch rotation where we get 100-day-old chicks every 2 weeks. These birds are 3 weeks old and ready to be moved out of the brooder tub and into a new chicken house we've built. This batch are a week old and will remain in the brooder tub under warm lights for another week or two. They eat a slightly different feed called broiler starter. It's crumbled down so their tiny little bird faces can eat it without choking. The third and final batch we have in rotation are the oldest and biggest birds at 5 weeks. These chickens are in movable tractors out on grass, so I need to take feed and water out to them. My favorite part of this job is nothing. I suppose I enjoy driving my Land Rover. The idea here is to get the chickens eating grass and bugs, a much more natural diet for them. This gives the meat much more flavor and is considered to be more healthy. It's a ton more work though, as in order to give the chickens fresh grass every day, they need to be moved every day. Clean, fresh grass with loads of ventilation. These chicken tractors basically only exist to keep the birds dry and warm and safe from predators. Besides that, they live a pretty good chicken existence. In each tractor there are 2 feeders and 2 drinkers, all suspended from the structure. They are suspended for a couple of reasons. 1, they hang level because of, well, gravity, and so nothing tips out or gets knocked over or pooped in. And 2, the height of the feeders and drinkers need to be adjusted as the chickens grow, allowing them to easily access the food and water. Otherwise they don't eat or drink and eventually die from stupidity. Anyway, that's how you do that. Not the best I've ever done it. I mean, I didn't mean to squash a chicken a little bit there. But it was seemingly lethargic already. It wasn't moving forward with the rest of the chickens, and so I think it was on its way out already. We'll see if it survives, and then I've got to go and finish off that little chicken house thing that I put the roof on a week or 2 ago. That really needs to be finished today because the batch in the garage, which I did first this morning, need to go in there like 2 days ago. So the pressure's on a little bit. As you can see, this new chicken house has come a long way since you saw it last. My dad put some hours in and closed the sides with some old pallet wood we had lying around. And because we're under a little pressure to move the 3-week-old chickens out of the brooder tub and into this chicken house, the responsibility of completing it is on me. Not perfect, but nothing around here is. Remember that leftover piece of transparent roof sheet? Yeah, me neither. But I found this, and I thought it could be a quick win to close this side of the chicken house and still allow some light to come through. But it doesn't seem to want to cooperate. Fiberglass everywhere. Apparently talcum powder helps. The next issue to solve are the corners on the outside where there's gaps around poles and stuff. I mean, this place was built without a spirit level and with poles and kind of just thumb sucking. So I got to do the corners on the outside of the building. Then, I don't know. My dad just got home. Let's see what he says. Okay, well, I got some approval, but there are a few changes to be made before we can get some chickens in here. Namely, these sections here are going to be framed in with chicken mesh, and the chickens will go in these sections. And this section here, which I've been boarding up, will hold the feed containers and whatever, all kind of miscellaneous bits and bobs. We are still waiting for a huge big order of sawdust to arrive, which hasn't. It was supposed to be here today, which is why I'm rushing for this. But if it hasn't arrived, the chickens can't go in here tonight, so there's no point in me doing it right now. I'll pick it up again tomorrow, and we just hope that the sawdust arrives tomorrow and those chickens can come in here and chill out. The sawdust arrived from the sawmill, and the race was now on to transfer the now mucky birds into their new dry and warm home. The sawdust needs to be from untreated timber, otherwise the chickens eat it and die from stupidity again. There's a natural disinfectant in the sap of this pine sawdust, so it's a great hygienic bed for the chickens to live on. Once that was done, the new coop was ready to receive the chickens. So I crated them up 15 at a time and slowly transferred them. We try really hard to give the birds a great life, and I think it shows, as we've had very good feedback from all of our customers. I'll tell you one thing, you can be glad you don't have smell-o-vision. Maybe in another video I can dive into the cash flow of a business like this to give you an idea on how much you can expect to earn from an endeavor like this. Spoiler alert, it's not very much at all, especially on a small scale like this. There you have it, 99 sort of happy birds. Now I just need to hang some feeders and one more water container, drinker, and then I think they're set. Then I've got to get to closing in this gap to prevent any predators, so still loads to do. The last thing to do was to close in the coop with timber frame and chicken wire. But on second thought, I think I'm gonna let the old man do it. He's a carpenter after all. I'm not, and I don't want to have to use the last available bits of material experimenting basically, so I'm going to leave it for him to do, and I'll give him a hand. So I'll catch up with you tomorrow, and I'll give you the rundown on what he did and show you around. I took the last available light to make sure the birds out in the tractors had enough food and water before calling it a day. So that's the sawdust order that came in now this morning. I've got like 10 more bags to move in here, but I wanted to show you what my dad finished off last night before the end of this video. Pretty cool, huh? So he put in a stud frame. I suppose I could have done that. And he cut and measured and screwed fast some galvanized chicken wire. I suppose I could have done that. There you go. Pretty good, I reckon. Now, they can be safe overnight, which they were last night, and we can just close in the other side exactly the same as this, and then we can get more birds in that side, and I think that's going to be a better system for the winter here. Chickens out in the field, in the chicken tractors, it's probably not a good system for the winter time. The temperature's getting just too low, and we've lost about 10% of that batch. In here, I think they're much warmer, much more settled, and more chilled out. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed tagging along with what goes into looking after these chickens. It is a full-on process when you have them in rotation and you're doing batches of 100 or so at a time on a very small scale like this. So thanks again for watching. I hope you were encouraged to maybe keep some of your own chickens. It is a lot of work and they do eat a lot of food, but it's kind of a cool process to see where your food comes from. Thanks for joining me on Farming Friday, and I'll see you again on the next one.